Of you for setting up this hospital. I really love those hospital beds and waiting chairs. By the way, did you import them?
No, Dad, I didn't. I actually got them from Kindle Books and Stationery right here in Ghana.
Wow. We also bought our office supplies, safes, executive desks and chairs from Kingdom, and they gave us expert advice on how to set up our office.
Guys, that makes 3 of us. I also got our sofa and bedroom sets, plus our dining hall furniture for our new home from Kingdom.
Wow, Mom, that makes 4 of us. I usually get my stationery items from Kingdom, and my teacher also mentioned that our classroom furniture was provided by Kingdom.
So there you have it. Whenever you're thinking about setting up an office or acquiring furniture for your home, etc., Kingdom Books and Stationery should be your first point of call. With over 40 years experience in the industry, we stock and supply a wide variety of globally sourced office and home furniture, stationery and equipment. Visit our head office, Osu Akwaje, or our office near the Osu Stadium. We're also in Tema Community 1, opposite Olam SHS, Kumasi KNUST campus, UCC Cape Coast, and now at the Marina Mall, Airport City. Or call us 0302 764101, 764209, or 762792. Visit our website www.kingdomgh.com.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay with Momo. When you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Shani Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Choboy! Yeah. We have a new leader in town. OBRNT. Amanfo. Madam was Sibibri. When him say my baby, maybe mamu more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe mamu lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal packed with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
The luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah.
Here's to the friends who dialed star 712 hash and found no regrets. To the investors who struck gold. To the health workers who diagnosed luck with precision. To the tough guy who couldn't hold back his tears. To the passionate fan who couldn't contain his joy. To the seamstress who turned her hard-earned stitches into a bundle of happiness. And now, here's to you. Your next big win is right here.
Luck is everywhere for everyone.
Dial star 712 hash. Now join in the luckiest winning celebration. Every 1st July 2024. Over dial star 712 hash. Now I can to tickets as a group, individual, and now even as a community. Now win is the car prizes are in the community draw or go for the grand draw on the 30th of November 2024. Unlock your luck with star 712 hash. Now join in the winning streak now.
The luckiest
star 712 hash.
Luck is everywhere for everyone, yeah. The luckiest.
Now, welcome back to Ghana Connect on your most authoritative show on Joy 99.7 FM. If you are joining us for the first time, Ghana Connect provides a platform for Ghanaians, both home and abroad, to discuss pressing national issues, share their perspectives, and engage in thought-provoking debates. And today, we'll do exactly that. My name is Papanii Ashalley. Now, listen to this to get an idea of what exactly we are going to discuss today on the show.
To find out my maturity date will be tomorrow, whether I can get something.
We are voiceless. To be honest with you, we are voiceless to the extent that we don't know what to do.
2023 budget statement economic policy of the government. At the time, the economy was going through a very difficult period. Thankfully, we have together as a nation turned the corner.
We want our money. It's very simple. I've said this before. I have money here too. It's locked up. My grandchildren are hungry.
Program was a very successful program, achieving 95% participation. And on this note, I would like to appeal to the people of Ghana to forgive us. Forgive us.
An apology is good, but it doesn't solve a problem that has been created. In our Kan adage, we say, kwese kwese nkunkru.
That is dishonest. Are you sorry because you took us here, or you are sorry because you are suffering? Which is which? You are sorry because you collapsed our bank? You should say so.
No one can accept a non-apology. It cannot be an apology. I mean, this is essentially asking people to not acknowledge the truth.
They don't keep the cash in the bank. They go and convert it into US dollars and keep the dollars. That contributes to the forex problem you are talking about.
No business person will do that. So I think that it is a question of the demand and supply situation which has to be resolved.
That's it. You heard it all right from when Akufo-Addo, just before coming to office as president of Ghana, asking the NDC to apologize for the economy that he had left. They were going to leave him with. Well, you've also now heard from his finance minister rendering an apology 7 years on into his administration. If you just join us, this is Ghana Connect on Joy 99.7 FM. I won't be doing this alone. I have with me connecting Yao Owusu Brefo. He's an accountant. His bonds were not serviced at some point, and he had to protest. He was one of 7 conveners of the individual bond holders. Yao, if you can hear me, how are you doing?
Hi, Michael. I'm good. Yourself?
I'm great. Thank you very much for connecting. I'll definitely come to you. I know you are itching to give me your view about this particular apology. Also connecting with us is Emmanuel Tay. Well, now he's employed, but some years ago, he lost his job because of the economic crisis sometime between 2017 and now. If you can hear me and you're joining us on Zoom, Emmanuel, thanks for connecting.
Hi,
fantastic. Emmanuel, how are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Yourself?
I'm great. Emmanuel, you have a job now?
Well, yes, I could say so.
Great. Also connecting with us, Pasolo, he's a Nigerian doing business in Ghana. Well, his home country is a bed of protest as we speak now. Pasolo, can you hear me? Hello, Pasolo. Okay, we'll try and raise Pasolo over the phone lines. Also connecting with us all the way from the USA, Nana Kari. She's a seasoned journalist with NBC Universal based at the headquarters in New York. Nana, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you very well, Michael. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Did I get your name right?
Yes, you did. Thank you.
How does it sound to hear your name correctly for the first time in a while?
That sounds wonderful. I appreciate that. Thanks.
Okay, great. So 4 individuals are going to help us to make sense of this particular apology. Where does it lie? Given that we have just a few months to the end of the year and Ghanaians will head back to the polls again, what really will it change for all of these people? Those who pay the cost of the price for the current economic crisis. What do they have to say? Well, let's start with Emmanuel. If Emmanuel is on the line now. Emmanuel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, great. Emmanuel, let's start with you, right? So tell us a bit of your story that you have paid a huge price for the economic downturn. Well, we've heard from the finance minister. It says we've turned the corner now, but an apology has come after that. Emmanuel, tell us a bit about your story.
Okay, good evening, Michael, once again, and good evening to your listeners. So it all started back in 2017. I was with Beige Bank. One day we woke up and we heard in the news that our bank has been taken over, right? And I kid you not, it became a very serious matter for a lot of us. I mean, in my case, I'm not married, but a few of my colleagues who were married, they really had a tough time. And Michael, nobody knew where the next meal was going to come from. Looking for a job was an uphill task. Okay, finally, we got unemployed. And the economic cost is unsurmountable. I cannot even begin to tell you what a lot of us have gone through because of this crisis. Well, fortunately, started something on my own for now, doing some sales consulting and started a property listing platform alongside. So yeah, I could say I have paid a huge price personally, and I know a lot of my colleagues are still paying a huge price because nothing has been back to what it used to be before. So yes, we hear the apology, but a little bit too belated.
Oh, I was going to definitely ask you, because you've been itching to get a bite of that question. Let me ask you point blank. Are you satisfied with that particular apology?
Well, to begin with, any apology is a good thing. It is a recognition of the fact that you've done something wrong, an admission that you recognize your error. But I do not find the apology satisfactory for these reasons. And Michael, let us analyze this in the context of facts, pure facts, okay? Nobody's here to do politics. This has nothing to do with politics. Now, what are the facts? The facts are that we have been insulted for a long while. We've been gaslighted. I feel disrespected as a Ghanaian, right? Why am I saying so? Michael, incomes have been decimated completely. People have died. I mean, it's just heartbreaking watching the images of those old people, the bondholders that have their money locked up, picketing in the sun, on the rain. These are our parents. These are our grandparents. Some of them need something little to take care of their medical bills. And what do we hear? They don't even pay attention to them. At best, they get insulted. So the apology is okay, but people have died. Marriages have been broken. Children have dropped out of school. Incomes have been decimated. You cannot undo what has already been done. So we hear the apology, but like I said,
it's not enough for you. It's belated. Okay. Well, let's now speak to Yao Owusu Brefo. He's an accountant, one of the conveners of the Individual Bondholders Forum. But just before I come to him, though, if you're also itching to contribute to the conversation, the WhatsApp number is 055 1111997. Let me take that again, 055 1111997. Yao, I mean, you also sort of paid the price, right? You had to go on protests, press conferences, trying to make your point. Yao.
Yeah, Michael, I'm here.
Great. So, I mean, tell us a bit of the price you had to pay for where we are now. I mean, the finance minister, before even starting giving us his apology, tells us directly that, well, the DDP was good, but he's sorry for those who had to pay the price. You think it's worth it?
Well, I don't think the apology means anything to a lot of the people we represented. Like the earlier speaker said, people lost their lives. So this apology at this point in time doesn't mean anything to somebody who has lost a relative or who has lost a job because of this that was done. Usually when you give an apology, it's an indication that you are sorry and that you have turned a new leaf. You will do something different. But the government is on a borrowing spree using treasury bills right now. What has changed? Nothing. So this is, to me, it was a willful negligence on the part of the finance minister or the people who were in charge of the ministry at the time. To the extent that they borrowed up to a point that they didn't even know how they were going to service the debt and had to be forced by IMF discussions to go and do debt restructuring. That, to me, is a height of negligence on any public officer. So coming back after a few months to say that you are sorry, it doesn't make any sense to me. Sorry for what? You ought to have done it right the first time. You messed up. you decimated income, sent people into poverty, and now you are saying you are sorry. It won't change anything.
Wait, did I hear you that the how he rendered the apology is not enough for you? How would you rather he rendered an apology?
No, it's not like the how. The fact that the apology itself doesn't make sense. You don't willfully do something and then go back and say you are sorry. Is the finance minister saying that they were not aware when they were borrowing all those large sums of money? They didn't know how they were going to service those debts. Whatever processes led us into that debt distress, they know. And they ought to have done something different. There were a lot of people, observers, who questioned them, and they did not listen. The same way today, government has increased its borrowing by about 70%. If you look at a half-year borrowing of T-bills, almost about 115 billion. We could end up in the same way as we did in 2022 in about a few years' time, if they don't change the trajectory. So government borrowing irresponsibly, coming back years to say we are sorry, to me doesn't make any sense.
Okay, just hold your horse for me. I'm coming. Let me go to the USA and ask Nana. Nana, isn't it weird that we're having a conversation because of a single apology?
You know what, Michael, before I even tackle the finance minister's useless apology, let me first acknowledge the fact that, you know what, major economies around the world, including the United States, Europe, and Asia, are all feeling the pinch of inflation and the high cost of living. This week in particular, Wall Street has crashed down. Major indexes here on Wall Street in the US crashed down on Monday. Also, over here, we got the latest job report that was released for last month. And only 114,000 jobs were added to the economy. That number is far below what economists expected. Also, our unemployment rate shot up 4.3%. That number is the highest level since October of 2021. Now, I'm saying that to establish the fact that, again, they everywhere around the world are having this economic issue. So when I saw this data here in the US, I was interested in how the data is translating or having an impact in Ghana, in the economy in Ghana. So when I heard that the finance minister was holding a town hall on Tuesday, I really wanted to hear what he has to say. But I must say, I was very disappointed. Now, let me take this quote. Joy News covered the story from all angles. They did a great job. And so I pulled the quote. You ran the soundbite. I pulled the quote from Joy News, and I have it right in front of me. The finance minister said, "We decided to restructure our debt because it was one of the requirements by the International Monetary Fund." Okay, let's stop there. Then he continued to say that they started their Domestic Debt Exchange Program, which is abbreviated the DDEP. And that program was very successful. Take note of the key word, very successful. However, he went on to say that on this note, I quote, "I would like to appeal to the people of this country to forgive us." Why are you apologizing? If you claim that it was, according to him, in his own words, the DDEP was very successful, achieving 95% participation. First of all, why would you first set up this DDP program to gauge, or because of the economic recovery in Ghana? Why would you measure the success of such an important initiative solely based on just participation and not the result or the outcome that comes out of this program? But just the 95% participating makes the program so very successful. In fact, I don't even know why Ghanaians are not calling for him to resign immediately. And also, I will ask that the government set up an independent committee to launch an investigation on with the way he operates, and also the entire finance ministry, because that's our calling to come to address. This is a very difficult week for, again, all major economies, right? Major indexes crashing down on Wall Street. The major index in Japan, the Nikkei, crashed down to actually notch the worst performance since 1987. And then we want to hear from our finance minister, thinking that he's going to calm nerves, going to kind of tell us, what measures are being put in place in the Ghana economy, how investors wanted to hear from him. Investors wanted to hear what he has to say when it comes to the economy, how to calm the nerves. Instead, he sat behind the microphone and rendered such an empty, useless apology without even telling us how they are working to resolve this issue that he, again, claimed that it was their fault. So again, he must resign, and he must resign with immediate effect.
Okay, but just because I just want also the perspective, and briefly do this for me, the perspective in the US of A. Is this new to your terrain? I mean, I know you've also come from Ghana as well. Is there something that if you compare the frequency which you get an apology and what really follows right after that? Hello, Nana.
Yes. So again, that's resignation, because it seems that clearly, and he acknowledged the fact that clearly they were unable, they failed, or he failed to manage that DDEP, the program that he set up, because again, it was a requirement by the IMF. And if you cannot do your job, Ghanaians put you in that position to do a good job. If you cannot do the good job, you get out. And that's how here in the United States is done. If a senator or a representative in Congress fail to do their job to the expectation of the people of for Americans, you get out so that we can bring in the person that can do the job.
But Nana, it doesn't really always happen. Just to play the devil's advocate, it doesn't always happen. In the just recent attempted shooting on the former President Trump, we've seen what the person, the lady in charge, has said. She really says, well, she's not going to back down. She's not going to resign from her post. So really, it's not a major requirement that if you apologize, you have to get out of office.
No, it's not a major requirement. However, listen to the soundbite that we played. He said that they failed. He's apologizing because they couldn't manage the program. Okay. I mean, the program wasn't managed by the people of Ghana. Okay. You are the finance minister, and you yourself sat behind a microphone and said that, look, I'm apologizing to Ghanaians who felt the pain, and right now on our panel, we have two people that were impacted, right?
Yes.
Economically, and lost their jobs. So
Great.
If you cannot do your job, it's just morally, legally, across all board.
To just get out of the line.
You get out. And the way you get out is you quit or you resign.
All right.
So someone who can do the job well can come in and do the job well. Because here's the thing. Let me quickly just say this.
Okay, just
what
30
Ghanaians
seconds.
do not understand is you are holding one of the highest position of the land. You are the finance minister. And that's why when I started, I said, you know what? Every major economy is struggling with high prices, whatever. Ghana is no different. However, you came this week on a very important week where market is crashing. Instead of to calm nerves, you actually decided to add salt into injury by just saying, I apologize. That's not enough. You apologize, but what are you doing, or what did you do to fix the issue when was brought up to you?
No, grateful. So let me come back to Emmanuel. Emmanuel, do I still have you?
Yes, I'm here.
Great. So, Emmanuel, you heard the finance minister. He says that, looking back, possibly is worth it. You've heard the person he inherited from. He also saying that, our economy has turned the corner. Certainly, you must believe in this, that it was worth it to have just let you suffer for a few weeks, months, just so that the economy will be stable.
But the question, ab initio, is who brought us here? Who got us here in the first place? Okay. Michael, the issue is that inflation went up as much as 52% at the early part of this year. How much is your salary increasing? How much? Have you been to the market lately? Do you know the price of food lately? Have you checked the value of 1 liter of fuel lately? The value of 1 gallon of fuel is equivalent of 1 liter of fuel as we speak. Who got us here? That is a question. Debt to GDP ratio in 2023 was 84.9%. Who got us here? That is a question. The cedi has depreciated as we speak. It's trading around 15.68 to the dollar. Who got us here? These are the hard indicators.
But it's better than before. I mean, the cedi was in free fall for so long. At least
Yes,
now it
I
hovers
understand.
over a single digit for so long a time, better than ever before.
Okay, so let's do the comparative analysis. Before 2016, what were the figures like? What were they like? Okay, I mean, like I said, we do not want to introduce any politics into the issue. It's a leadership crisis we are discussing here.
Yes.
It is leadership without an honor code. That is what we are discussing here. Okay, and like the previous speaker just said, elsewhere, if you admit that you have failed at something, you have honor and you walk out of the job. We don't have that in Africa here. The fact that you are apologizing is an admission that you have failed.
Exactly.
Okay, so yes, we may be, I wouldn't want to acquiesce with the finance minister, previous finance minister, for example, and say that we've turned the corner. We haven't turned the corner. The dollar was trading around 4.6 cedis at the time that, they inherited power. Today is around 15.68. Is that an economy that has turned the corner? Is that it?
Well, I can't answer for you. I don't have all the figures to come to that determination. But Yimano,
question.
Yes. So Yao,
they can answer that question for themselves.
Okay, let me ask Yao, who's also had to sort of pay for where we are now. Yao, do you think that we've properly turned the corner, or it was worth it to have gone through this?
Well, Mikey, I don't think we have turned the corner like the minister wants us to believe. But I can understand from where he sits, he wants to give some hope to people who listen to them and have some faith or some trust in what they say. Every person living in Ghana now knows that things have become harder than they used to be. But he says you have turned the corner. If you look at the economic indices, and I don't think that they speak to what he's claiming. But for me, it's either here or there. They are the same country that took us down that hill. So if they even get out of that hill, they don't need any acclaim. They don't need any applause.
But in terms of bonds, I know that for the cocoa bonds and the other, those that were willingly brought in, traded their bonds to be added to the DDP. At least they are being serviced and not really on time, but at least you are getting something better than what we expected at the time.
Yeah, but all of us submitted to the DDP voluntarily. Those who decided not to submit also stayed out, opted out, which our campaign was about. So the issue is not about whether it was forcefully done or it was voluntarily done. The fact you asked the question, did we have to go down that route? Did we have to borrow up to a point in time where we have to force people to sacrifice money? Look at what agreement has been reached with the Eurobond creditors. Look at how much money they have to lose. These are investors' money. Okay? You collapse the banks in your country, and the few people who have money, investable funds, you bring them down to this level now. People who even have money to lend you, give you loans in foreign currency, are also having to sacrifice. This DDP will go down in history as one of the most destructive things to happen to our investment environment. People will not be so scared to lend to Ghana as a country because they don't know what will happen. If a country can borrow up to a point inside that it cannot service its debt, it tells you what the people who sit in the finance ministry do. Do they watch? I mean, with all the respect to the people who trade in the market at Makola, those who don't even have the benefit of Yale education or university education will not borrow up to a point that where they are unable to service those debts. For me, that's where the issue lies. Did we have to go down this path? Have to borrow up to a point that where we couldn't service the debt? That's the question we need to ask. So if the same government that borrowed heavily and got us through DDP now says that they've gotten us out of that and we are turning the corner, they need to be given applause or what? I don't see how that makes sense in any way. You didn't have to do it in the first place. So now if you are doing corrective measures, you don't need to be praised.
Interesting. Let me come back to Emmanuel. So, Emmanuel, let's talk about now though. He's rendered the apology, but I get it from the sense that all three of you don't think that it cuts it for you. What would you rather have him do now, with just a few weeks to, a few months to the end of the year, and possibly the tenure of his government?
All right, that's a good question. So here is the thing: we are looking for solutions here. Okay, I hear the various presidential candidates on the campaign train talking about how they will do X, Y, Z when they come to power. But some of the presidential candidates are currently in power. So what I want to see is, what are they doing currently to alleviate the plight that the ordinary Ghanaian is going through currently? It's not about when you vote for me and I come to power, I'll do X, Y, Z. Do that now. Show working. Okay, so that's what I want to see right now. And I also want to see, look, the most annoying part of the whole conversation is why they keep piling on more to governments, the size of the government. Okay, just yesterday or so, I was reading on my job online that the president has appointed an ambassador in situ. Imagine that. Imagine that. There's a government that is suffering from elephantiasis already, and we keep adding on more. Do you know how much it costs to maintain one minister, a single minister, with a Land Cruiser, with a saloon car, with a chef, with a personal driver, all those things? And it's a lot of cost the taxpayers pays. Now, what I want to see is a drastic cut in government expenditure. Okay, look, there are two sides of the coin. While we are trying to improve our revenue, we keep saying that people are not paying enough taxes. Well, people are not paying direct taxes enough. A lot of us are paying a lot of direct taxes. And they are smart. We're finding a lot of ways to rope in people into the indirect tax bracket. So once you are increasing revenue and you are performing well over there, we also want to see equally the expenditure side of the equation also performing. Reduce the expenditure for Christ's sake. Why do you keep adding on elements that will keep inflating the size of government expenditure? So that's what I want to see, practically speaking. So let them do what they can do now. And look, in the long term, our economy will not survive if we keep doing this gorgeous thing. They've been saying it for God knows how long, right? So I want to see people, I want to see the government, I want to see them investing in productive sectors of the economy, entrepreneurship, right? Today, all they do is pay lip service to entrepreneurship. And I'm saying this because I'm in the industry, I'm in the space myself. It is very hard to access funding for any proper entrepreneurial venture. So these are the practical things we want to see. The Ghanaian has become wiser. Okay, look at what is happening in Kenya. Nigeria, recently. Very soon, we have an Arab Spring on our hands if we don't do anything about this situation. So Michael, these are the things I want to see. Cut down the size of government, rationalize expenditure, right? And cut down the corruption. They say it costs $3 billion to this economy per year. Can you imagine that? Back to the banking sector crisis. A crisis that you claim you want to solve. You spend 25 billion Ghana cedis solving a problem that is not even solved. I mean, who does that?
But
and have you read the,
considering that you've really never gotten an apology like this before, and to just to show that when he was reading the half-year mid-year budget review, he rendered something similar to that, an apology that, well, we are sorry. But clearly, this is a very apologetic government. Would you say that you barely get something close to this in the life of government ever?
Well, first of all, I want to cut Honorable Amin Adam some slack and say that he's done the honorable thing. Okay, I personally think that if we were here a bit earlier, we'd have got into this deep ditch. Okay, but at the end of the day, any budget is a president's budget, right? So I still thought the buck stops with the president at the end of the day. So what else I want to see is a practical step, not the rhetoric and the lip service they keep paying to the situation, right? Beyond the apology, what next? That is a question. That is a big question in the room. Beyond the apology, what next? What practical steps are you taking to convince the ordinary Ghanaian that you are also tightening your belt, much as you are asking us or expecting us to tighten our belt? And I'll tell you, the level of despondency and hopelessness that the Ghanaian is facing right now. Have you been to the American embassy recently? Visa applications are shot up 300% over the past 1 year. The watchword on the street today is Japa. Japa. It paints a grim picture.
Does that not mean that many people have money to be applying? There's a lot of money in the system, and so therefore people feel that let's travel to the UAE, to US, Canada, go and spend and come back to the country?
Well, Michael, if you've been to the embassy before, they will ask you the question, are you traveling for pleasure or business? Okay, on a Maslow's theory, people who travel for pleasure are people who are accomplished, right? But these are people who are hopeless and are even selling their houses, their lands, their landed property, anything they can lay their hands on. People are even taking unreasonable risk.
But you don't need, you did more than $5,000 to make that journey. That's more than 50,000 cities, and I'm being very generous with the conversion here. So it means that people have money in even this quote unquote broke economy.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I'm saying. That look, ordinarily, no rational Ghanaian, no rational human being will sell his house. I mean, that is basic. To travel in the name of travel, it tells you the level of despondency and hopelessness, right? The last thing ever that anybody would think of selling to travel is his house. And if people are doing this, people are getting to this extent, it tells you that they have gotten hopeless.
All right, let's hold our horses here. We've been getting a lot of messages as well. We want to make this very engaging as well. So, Nana, I've not forgotten you. I'll come back to you. Certainly on what we expect to happen. And he's already mentioned about the exodus of Ghanaians going. Last week, there was a story about doctors complaining about how many of them, skilled and specialized doctors, medical practitioners that are leaving the country by the hour. We'll try to bring all of them, give you all of those. We'll give you a bite of all of those angles as well. But pretty shortly, we'll be having the social media comments. Let's try and get into what some of you have been saying. And if you haven't sent yours, send them in 055 1111 997 so that we can hear from all of you. But just before that, though, Yao, are you still with me, Yao? Oh, okay. Unfortunately, we lost Yao there. So we'll try and get Yao back on the line. But Nana, just before we go and take the social media messages, well, it appears that many people want to join you. The place is greener, but simply because they can afford it. There's so much money here. They want to come and join you and help you spend that money.
No, Michael, that's totally incorrect. Nobody would like to leave their home. We're talking about home. If they are comfortable in their home, to go outside, to abroad, to live there, or to seek greener pastures. They are leaving because the economy is bad in Ghana. The healthcare system is collapsing. The unemployment rate is sky high. Their infrastructure is worse than the worst. Again, I can go on and on and on with that. So let's not just, fool ourselves and say, they are going out. We are all here, and we read the news about this group of people going to Norway, impersonating themselves. That's not going for because they are rich. It's because, again, they are suffering in Ghana, and they're going out to a place where they will feel comfortable. The country is suffering. Let's talk in the sense of the average Ghanaian woman, not just those people that are the high tier. An average Ghanaian person is suffering, and they want to get out of the country. I mean, this is a country that's so collapsed and so full of corruption that you can put it up on eBay for sale. And I'm sorry, nobody would like to purchase that. So again, for me, yes, the finance minister did a great job by coming in front of a mic to talk. But that's about it. As far as what he said was useless, he needs to remove himself. He needs to step down immediately, and let's get somebody who can do the job and do the job well.
That's not something. That's not something we are going to get anyways. There was a huge movement from even within the party that owns government at the moment to remove the former minister of finance, but that never happened. Eventually, when he was removed, he was sort of quote unquote promoted. So it doesn't appear that we'll get that.
That takes me back to what I just said, the corruption. We live, Ghana is a democracy world, right? We vote them in. We vote them in power. So we should be able to vote them out. That's exactly, you just made my point about the country filled with corruption. Because when I get there, I have the pillars supporting me that even if I don't do a great job, I have people turning a blind eye at my performance that I'm going to stick around. That needs needs to change. That is very sad. That is very sad that even in an ordinary job, when you work in, Michael, at Joy News, if you're not doing a great job, you wouldn't still be there. You'll be out because there are thousands or millions of people that are out there looking for a job. As I mentioned, there are university graduates sitting at home, not getting jobs. So you get out. So somebody who can do the job well should come in. You don't just come out and hold the town hall meeting and say, I apologize, and then we call it a day. We say, okay, yeah, he did apologize. It's a shame that some Ghanaians are just glossing over this. Oh, yeah, he did a great job. He did apologize. No, this is a company. You run, this is the country. The country's economy is in your hands. You are leading us. You are driving. You are determining the direction of where the economy should go. And so coming to us and just say, yeah, I apologize, he has nothing to do again. I mean, when did he notice that Ghanaians were suffering? The economy has been bad since I can't even remember.
I mean, others will argue that it's been bad since we entered this current dispensation from 1996. It really hasn't been a bed of roses. Never.
Yeah, that's not good. That's why he needs to get out. That's why he needs to get out, because we vote you in to get us a better economy, right? We vote you in to do a good job. We don't vote you in to continue the trail of poor economy. That's not how. Why do you think you're being paid for in being a finance minister? You're not being paid for just to continue the trend of poor economy and also even go as far as collapsing it even more. So he needs to get out. He needs to step down. He needs to be out immediately so we can figure out, unless he comes, honestly, I don't even think he can come out with any measures because he couldn't. He spoke to us on Tuesday. He still couldn't come up with what is being done to rectify the situation.
Nana,
so
hold your horses for me. So because you if you think that he can't come up with anything, possibly will help him try to come up with measures to try and help all of us at the end of the day. Hold your horses for me. Let's go for what people have been saying on social media as well pretty shortly. Stay tuned. We'll be back. And my colleague James Aveji joins me with all that you have been saying on all our social media platforms. James?
Yes.
So let's start with our poll first, right? What did we ask?
So the question is pretty simple. The finance minister this week apologized for the pain inflicted by the domestic debt exchange and by extension, the economic hardship endured by Ghanaians. Question is, do you accept his apology and was it sincere? That is the question we've put out there.
Very interesting question. So, I mean, I know that a lot of people have been engaging. Well over 2,000 people have been engaging in this particular tweet. But let's start with the percentages. Who is winning? Where is it? Is this poll favoring?
As you could imagine, especially from the interaction we've had so far with the guests, let me say a total of 2,570 views so far. Some 335 persons have voted on that, and this poll has been there for 16 hours and 15 minutes. And those who say yes, they accept the apology, amount to some 15%.
And the minority 15 is very low.
Exactly. And 85% of the total vote say no, they do not accept the apology. And so quite a high number of persons rejecting that apology by the finance minister, Papa.
Interesting. So 85, no, I don't accept the apology.
Exactly.
And just 15%, yes, I accept the apology. Some people have been tweeting at us as well. What have they been saying?
Exactly. For instance, DK at Nabs Osman says, we've heard the apology, but we are not accepting it. Simpliciter. And another person with the name Shaw at Shaw Gas GH says, my investments are locked up since 2020 due to their mismanagement of the economy, and 4 months to election, you are here apologizing for your votes. Ghanaians are not, and then he used a word there that I cannot put out there. And so looks like many of them are not happy with the the apology so far. That's what we have on the poll so far. Some messages have also been
on
coming
WhatsApp, right?
on
They've
WhatsApp.
been coming in thick and many.
Exactly. Mash Dingoni in Tamale says, honestly speaking, the youth of this country are suffering a lot. So they shouldn't be taking us for granted. Apology for what? For causing more harm or hardship to Ghana. Come on, almost a year now. My tap stopped flowing. Yet Ghana Water Company keep on sending me service bills when you don't render any service to us. Another person from Obiba JK Menu in Accra says the apology is coming from the wrong person. Where is the former Minister for Finance in this apology equation? Where's the president who forced this clueless finance minister on us? Minister, okay, and so that's from Obiba JK. And Nanayao in UK, Lovelins Nanayao in UK says, I don't have much to say. All I can say is this Nanado Bamya government. Thank you. Shem Mixin Yabua says all government officials must resign immediately. It's funny how our economy is always linked to a global economic crisis, yet when the global economy is doing great, it doesn't manifest in Ghana. A mere apology without any meaningful remedy is very bizarre and reckless. And so those are some of the messages that have been coming through on WhatsApp as well, Papa.
James, I'm grateful for those. So thank you very much for everybody that sent us a message. Really appreciate it. Your time, every time on Ghana Connect. But let's go back to Zoom and the phone lines. Let me start with Yimano. So we are done with that part, right? Some people will argue we had a Nigerian who was supposed to join us, but especially that they barely also get comments like this, an apology from high-ranking individuals in government, especially when people are on the streets now looking for one. I mean, many of them are also in Ghana. They feel that Ghana is a safe haven. But moving the conversation forward, with a few days to the election, Emmanuel, would this change where possibly you have decided you're going to vote? Will this make any meaningful change in the direction of your vote come December 7?
Well, Mike, so here's the thing. I'm not going to vote. I believe we are practicing what I would call an ideological paralysis.
Emmanuel, it's your civic duty. You have to contribute to the democracy that we've all signed up to.
Well, if someone is robbing and you go and assist him to rob, you're equally a robber. That is the point. So here's the thing. I want us to look for solutions rather. Mike, we cannot continue recycling 20th century solutions for 21st century problems. It does not work that way. So, two takeaways I want to leave in this conversation is that one, economic development is not short-termist. It is a long-term agenda. So we need to go back to our national development plan. I mean, the NDPC has been there and the documentation they prepared, 40-year development agenda also, has been gathering dust for God knows how long.
Emmanuel, this conversation is very familiar, but always the problem has been how short is long-term? Is 8 years enough to have an idea and implement it?
That's a good question. So here's the thing. The simple answer to that is that we need to prioritize national development plan over party manifestos. Because a party manifesto, one, they will not have that long time to implement, and get a benefit of economic sustainability that we are looking for. That is why what we need to do is to put down as a country our national development agenda and then ask the parties what are they going to do to implement it. Not they coming to tell us X, Y, Z, then tomorrow another party comes and they change the whole agenda. And so we are just recycling, like I said, the problems, and we haven't got any solution. So let us go back to the drawing board and look for a national development plan and then compel the parties to come up with their strategy to implement it. That is the only thing that will convince someone like me.
Okay,
probably.
So, and the second point?
Yeah, so I spoke of two things. First of all, economic development is not short-termist. So let's stop using the short-term plan.
And the second one is to follow NDPC?
Exactly, to look for a national development agenda and compel the parties to fashion their manifestos along how to implement it. Not they come with their own agenda, another party comes, they throw everything away, and then we keep recycling the problems, we'll never get anywhere.
Emmanuel, quickly though, somebody's asking, how did you find your job? Because he's also looking for a job, he can't find one.
Well, I think that as young people, we need to be smart as well. Okay, we need to look. There are opportunities all around us. When I started my own then.
Okay, so you are self-employed.
Yes, I'm self-employed. And I'm doing some consulting alongside. So yeah, there are a lot of problems around us. We can look for solutions to them, and then we find ourselves out of the economic crisis on the personal level. But on the national level, I think leadership is a problem.
Okay,
we need
Emmanuel,
to fix it.
Grateful. Yao, if you are with us, try to move the conversation forward. What would you like to see with just about a few months to the end of the year? That you think that will help possibly to change our situation, not take us back to where we are. This sounds all too familiar that 8 years ago we were talking about the government that was moving from an IMF scheme to another government, and then we are back again. It's almost the same narrative. What would you expect to change?
I think one of the first things to do is to reduce government expenditure. Learning to live within your means is a discipline that every family must accept. But as a country, we have been running budget deficits for a long time, and we can't sustain that. Until we learn to live within our means, we will keep going to the IMF, we will keep borrowing left, center, back and front, and then we will find ourselves in another position like we did in 2022. In fact, if you look at the way government is borrowing now, we could be back in the DDP position in 2026. It's very bad. That's why I told you earlier on that the apology doesn't make any sense, because you are apologizing that you borrowed irresponsibly and to a point where you didn't know how you're going to service those debts, and you have to go back and beg those people to now give up some of their legally entitled coupons and principals for you to be able to move on. Now, after they did that, you have gone back to the market borrowing again. Half year, you have done 115 billion. An increase of 70.2%. That's according to Bank of Ghana's own report.
Yeah, for the sake of time, can you wrap up in 10 seconds?
I'm saying that the government should reduce expenditure. They should live within their means. That's all.
Thank you. If you are with us, Nana, you have the last bite. But first of all, though, are you going to come down to vote December 7?
You know what? That's up in the air, but I would definitely let you know. But what I would say is, quickly, as we speak right now, Joy News and major networks are reporting that thousands of Ghanaians cannot access their locked up funds in the financial market. So this is up to the finance minister to do something with the few months that we have, about 4 months to election day, and to Ghanaians, vote and vote and vote. As we say in the hip hop world, let your next move be your best move.
Nana, I'm really grateful to that. Thank you very much. And unfortunately, we've run out of time. This is how we have to close the curtains on Ghana Connect today. My name is Michael. Actually, I didn't do this alone. I was with Iya Owusu Brefu. He's an accountant. He suffered by the time the debt restructuring was done. We were also connected with Emmanuel Ted Jr. He lost his job when the banking sector financial cleanup was done. And again, we were supposed to have Pasolo. He joined us for 1 minute, and that was it. It was impossible to have him. Pasolo, we hope that we can get you another time. And then also connecting from the USA was Nana Kari, who is hearing her name being pronounced for the proper way, the very first time in a long while. We are grateful for all of you and for all of those who texted us on social media. We are grateful once again. My name is Michael Ashalley, and this is Ghana Connect. If I don't mention Sarah Menson's name, I'm sure that I can't leave the studios today. But grateful for all those who tune in. Grateful. Enjoy the rest of our programs.